guys, what's up and welcome back to today's video. We will be doing something a little different. As you can see, I have my earphones in today, so we're going to be basically, I'm going to be reacting to a video. I know react videos a little boring, but we can hopefully you guys can learn something. Yeah, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be watching the UFC All Access, the Brock Lesnar edition. Hopefully pick up a few things about maybe Brock's training or Brock's diet that we can take forward and learn. And hopefully we can all learn something from this that we can apply to our own training to try and be a little bit more like Brock Lesnar. Because wouldn't that be nice? Because, you know, the guy's a freak of nature. But yeah, I think that's about it for my intro. So let's begin, shall we? Okay, that's a little loud. Turn this down a little bit. Okay, there we go. So we're watching Brock at the moment. This is just him on his little ranch. Very impressive, Brock. And he would accomplish this goal. Brock, as I'm sure many of you are aware, did end up becoming a UFC heavyweight champion in just his third ever professional fight, which is very impressive. Congratulations to the Brocktopus. Well, let's carry on. So far nothing about his training. Here's Brock. Must be an old video because it looks like it's recorded on a drunk potato. Down a little bit. Okay. I like how Brock's like just a super chill guy, to be fair. It's quite funny. Just he looks very scary, but he seems quite chill. These are previous episodes of UFC All Access, I guess. So be very impressive. Getting fitted for a tux, very important. UFC All Access. Brock's farm he lives on. Well, we used to live on. He was in Canada on a hunting range he owns. God, look at the full definition on his body. Look at him as a junior college athlete. Ridiculous. Okay. This is his trainer, Marty Morgan. Apparently what did actually bring Brock away from WWE in the first place was the travelling was really starting to get to him, having to move around and interact with so many different people. Apparently was getting to him. But yeah, look at the definition on this man. Ridiculous. Okay. Cute horse. Those horses are really nice. Aww. This, I think, was back in like 2007 or 8 that this would have been made, so that was like, the internet was a thing, it was very popular, however it wasn't kind of social media dominated that it is now. Obviously that would be ridiculous if you were to live now without any form of technology, you know, no internet, no phone. That would be insane. No computer. There's the whole minimalist movement that could, it's very popular, so he's making a comeback. He's built a gym, here we go, that's what we're here for. Very nice gym. It's got lots of equipment. He built his own thing. He built his own thing tailored to him. Right, looks like we're going to get to his training now. So we're going to get to his actual training now, so hopefully we get something proper. We can properly critique and see if there's anything we could pick up. Okay, his API workout is once per week, 5 minute rounds, which is smart, but kind of works how a UFC title fight would work. 5 stations per round, okay, 1 minute break, 25 minutes total. Sounds good so far, especially for a UFC fighter, makes sense. Okay. Pushing, okay, let's go good. Pushing around, we've got some Spider-Man push-ups, some plyo push-ups, mounted punches, a tire push and a hand switch. They'll all be pushing the musculature, as they've said. Kind of important to keep guys pinned to the ground, or like just slam them as well. That would be kind of pushing, if you will. Yeah, looks good so far. Let's see how Brock does them. Feet, very good. Putting the feet up. Let's just watch Brock do them. Brock is doing those very well. Obviously having his feet elevated to kind of change the focus, to put more of the pressure on your upper chest here. Really give you, if you've watched the attractive physique video, it will really help make that kind of broad chest, make you look broad and make you look a bit more thicker as well, which is all good. He's doing these very well. Plyo push-ups. Good movement there as well. Impressive he can get up that high as well. I've done plyo push-ups before, I can only get up like a couple of plates at most. Mounted punches. Okay, this makes sense. Especially having those ropes and bands to kind of add a bit of resistance as you're coming down. Really help you ground and pound. Tire push. Okay. Brock seems to be doing good in line with exhaustion there. Hand switch. Let's go over both the wisdom there from Brock. That makes sense. Good work. Okay, pushing. This is pulling. Sorry. Now we've got recline pull-ups, body weight pull-ups, pulling, pushing tire, jumping pull-ups, and a heavy bag twirl. Okay, they all seem pretty good. Again, nothing terrible here, nothing that I'm unhappy with. Especially with a pulling, which in UFC, you're going to be pulling guys towards you, trying to be able to pick them up to slam them. Kind of keep guys close to make sure they can't get away and reset to take you on. So yeah, for UFC training, this is all very good. Inverted row, very nice. Okay. Well, this is the good movement. Okay, you can see there as well, his feet are elevated. You can see he's got elevated feet as well. That'll allow him to go a bit deeper, get that bit deeper stretch as well. Really get some tension at the bottom. He can pull himself up a bit explosively as well. Really, really good movement, especially for the UFC. Yeah. Okay. Okay, good. So if you do this sort of thing yourself, you want to go as explosively as you can with this. You want to be putting maximum effort in. You don't want to be doing maximum effort in terms of how quick you're pulling it. You want to be really quick, or you want to be make it really heavy. So when you're pushing, you're exerting a lot of effort. Make it really, really useful for you. Do you all have what Brock was doing? Okay, jumping pull-ups. Okay. Good pull-ups, to be fair. And a heavy bag twirl. Okay. It's a good movement as well. Good for UFC. So far all of this is good carryover to the UFC, which is excellent. That's what Brock's training for, trying to become UFC heavyweight champion of the world, and I assume all of this did help him achieve that. So yeah, seems to be time well spent. Cardio endurance, again useful for the UFC. You don't want your body to gas out in the first couple of rounds, especially having it round 3 after the pushing and pulling. You want to be a bit fatigued, a bit tired. So having it there is very good. Aerodyne bike, tough move. UP machine, got incline treadmill, a wind sprint bike, and then the Aerodyne bike again. Again, all good so far. Okay, 70 RPM per minute is tough. The upper body odometer, the UBE machine. Okay. Yeah, that's tough. Incline trainer. Great for cardio. That. No seat on the bike. Okay. Right. That's all tough. That's all really tough. Build up a good tank on him. Help him go. It's all very good. Hybrid strength round. We've got the jammer machine, which is this that Brock's doing now, which is very useful. Get a nice explosive punch. Obviously, if in the UFC this is someone's head, you want your fist to carry on going, so that energy transfers into their head, and you'll be able to knock them out. So this is a great move, especially if you can over the course of your camp, the training window, the training camp. You can really get that weight up there. So if you're able to do that with say 50 kilograms, not sure what that converts to in pounds. If you were to do that with 50 kilograms on either side, really, you'll be able to probably knock them out with one punch, maybe a couple. At least stagger them with a punch to then be able to maybe go into a ground and pound or lock them into some sort of submission manoeuvre. So it's good work. One-arm sledgehammer, bear crawls, medicine ball sprawl. We'll see how Brock does those. Again, all of those have great crossover to the UFC, so all this is good so far. Okay, great work. Sledgehammer, one-armed. that looks tough. Yeah, nice slamming movement again. Useful for when you're doing ground and pounds. Again, will carry over to when you're trying to punch people. Bear crawl. Just tough. Brock does sweat a lot, to be fair. Medicine ball sprawl, okay. Kind of a burpee with a medicine ball throw. Again, so you can make that really quick throughout if you're tired. Excellent crossover to martial arts. Okay, so they repeat round 3 for this last round, which is all good. All tough work. If you're doing this last, it'll be really brutal. Really get your cardio going, your heart rate up. It'll be excellent work. So it's kind of important what Brock said there. Doing all that, he may not enjoy it, but he does it because he knows it will help him be able to beat his opponent in the ring, in the cage, in the octagon, and that's kind of crucial. Like, you may not want to do your workout, but you'll feel good. But once you get going, you'll probably feel good and be glad you did it. But there's no bad workout. The only bad workouts are the ones you don't do. Obviously, if you've got a legitimate injury, then do sit one out and recover and recuperate to be able to go fully again. But yeah, if you just don't can't like feel like you can't really bother to go, just go and do like one set of whatever you plan to do. So you say you got your workout, you got your 5 exercises, say, just do one set of each, and even that is still a good workout, a good session. You'll feel good afterwards, and you might even get into the flow of things and be like, oh, I'm going to do a bit more of this. I'm actually kind of glad I came. So yeah, but based on what Brock's done so far, I can see why he became UFC Champion of the world, and he looked like he did, because he looked brutal. I've personally tried to do something similar, probably modifying a bit for the limitations of my gym, and it was tough, to be fair. I was dripping with sweat. But yeah, that was all good crossover as well for all MMA world, which is very important. So yeah, good work, Brock. You see why you became UFC Heavyweight Champion. Let's carry on. See what else we've got to say. That's true. Okay, technique work. Okay, so he's doing this after his API workout. Okay. Greg Nelson, his MMA coach. So obviously that mental toughness they mentioned is important in the UFC. You've got to be tough to be able to be willing to stand there and not let people hit you, but like make sure you're paying attention the whole time, because if you let your concentration lapse for even a second, you can get knocked out and legitimately very, very badly injured. But what they said about Brock teaching him the MMA and the boxing skills and the submissions and stuff, the fact that Brock's got such a well-established and successful wrestling career is actually quite useful for him, because he's already got the grappling side down. So then it's just for submissions anyway. It's just transitioning those grapples into submissions. So for example, if you start the classic wrestling pose, you can quite easily transition then into a Kimura lock or a rear naked choke or other submissions. And then with the boxing side, again, boxing, they're very good athletes, but actual boxing technique isn't too difficult to learn. The most difficult part is obviously learning like dodges to other slip punches, basically reading your opponent is probably the most difficult part of boxing, and staying focused. But yeah, this is all good so far. Let's carry on. Okay. Leg kicks and ground and pound. 2 times per week. They do 5 5-minute rounds. So again, quite good work in terms of UFC crossover, because UFC title matches 5 rounds. They go for 5 minutes each. You get a 1-minute break, which again I think is what the UFC get. There might be 30 seconds, but I think it's a minute. 25 minutes total. This is all good, especially practicing those leg kicks and the ground and pounds. They'll be tough. A guy who's practiced his leg kicks for that amount of time will be very good at them, I assume. Especially ground and pounds. Okay. So working on ground and pounds is good. Box a big boy is what we've learned from that. Nutrition. Okay, so this box diet. Sweats a lot, which is true. If you've ever seen him wrestle, obviously based on what we've seen so far, I don't find that hard to believe, especially if he's doing that API workout once a week. He's doing leg kicks and ground and pounds twice a week. I assume he's doing some sort of boxing combo maybe twice a week as well. Maybe some sort of submission based work maybe once a week. If he's doing weight training on top of that, that's all going to add up. It's just going to mean he's shedding weight. So I think he said he's doing a gallon of water with electrolytes. Electrolytes are good because they replenish your body with salt. If you ever lick the sweat on when you're sweating, if you ever licked it, it tastes a bit salty. That's because your body's losing salt. So sometimes when you drink water, it doesn't quite replenish you. But if you have electrolytes in there, it'll give you that salt back and help you recover a bit better. Generally feel a bit better after your workouts. But yeah, Brock, it seems to be doing good well so far. I didn't realise fight diets included burger and chips, but if Brock's shedding as much weight as he said, I think he said 8 to 12 pounds per kind of camp or per week, then you can probably afford to eat this kind of stuff. You train as hard as Brock seems to be in these videos, then yeah, you can probably get away with that diet. I assume this is like kind of not, he's not having this every meal, I assume. Probably having steak and rice and stuff. High protein, high calories. Okay. Now we're going to see his weight training as well. So we covered so far kind of cardio based, his actual kind of combat stuff, down to weights. God, Brock is just so chill, isn't he? Okay, so we're going to his weights gym now. We're doing some warm-ups. There's some kind of good warm-ups. Neck rolling. The grappling is good. 5 1 minute goes 4 times. Okay, so 4 times per week he does 5 1 minute rounds and 5 1 minute standing drills. It's all good so far, no issues there. Let's have a see, shall we? You do grappling with different people, which is all good. Pulling. Okay. It's all good. So training against live people will be better. Training against live people will be good because you won't know what they're thinking. You've got to think about your feet, make sure you're paying attention, and obviously Make sure you don't get stuck in the face or in that drill. Make sure they don't take you down and like kind of pin you to the floor, because then they can lock you into submission. It becomes very difficult. You're fighting from underneath, and in the UFC and in a general martial arts world, that's a very bad thing, having to fight from underneath. Okay. So before his workout, he's doing some snow ploughing. Okay, now he's going to work out. Okay. No warm up on the elliptical. Elliptical warm up, circuit weight, 1 hour total. So if you do a 10 minutes say on the elliptical, or 10-minute walk, or 10-minute cycle, 10-minute cycle, or something like that, 5-10 minute row, that will be jolly good for your workout. You'll feel good, you'll kind of warm your body up, get the joints moving, get the blood flowing, and you'll be able to go straight to your workout. Jolly good. You can. Sorry. Another way before if you didn't fancy doing that and you wanted to warm up, is just whatever you're planning to do, just do really low weight on it. So say you're planning to do a bench press, just maybe use the bar, or if you're using a dumbbell press to get some really light dumbbells, just do. Say you're planning to do a working set of 8 reps for 20 kilograms on the incline press, let's say. If you were to grab the 10s and do a set of 4, do that, and then maybe go up to 14, do another set of 4, then you're probably good to go for your working set. There's just another alternative if you didn't fancy doing a piece of steady state cardio. But Brock seems to fancy that, and that's fine. Each of their own. Brock doing some rows. Unique looking row machine. Okay. He seems to have good form on everything. Good. Possibly good control on the way down, the eccentric movement, that's the way down, or basically the way the force acts. Let's control that a little bit more, get a little bit more hypertrophic stimulus. Obviously Brock is going for raw power for UFC crossover, so obviously you still want to control that eccentric, don't want to risk an injury, but the more important bit for him, especially for the pull movements, a bit of pull in towards him, and then the push movement to be how quick he gets that away from him. So you want to make sure he's nice and controlled. But yeah, other than that, jolly good. Very impressive. I can see why he became UFC Heavyweight Champion of the world. Okay. On those weight training moves as well, he has very good range of motion. As I said, it depends on what you're going for. If you're going for like Brock, you just want raw power, then exactly how Brock's doing it is perfect. Again, probably a little bit more control on, if for example like chest fly, you're doing that bit, a bit more control, and then when you're coming up you want to really snap them together. But if you want that hypertrophic stimulus, basically make your muscles as big as they can be, nice and controlled your full way, nice and slow on the way back as well. Those are just small nitpicks, more for goal preference as opposed to Brock doing anything fundamentally wrong here. Is that all one day? That's a lot in one day, to be fair. I don't know if that was for the cameras, maybe for over a couple of days. Okay, that was Brock Lesnar's UFC workout that helped him become the UFC Heavyweight Champion of the world. again, I think fundamentally all very, very good work there from Brock. Everything made sense. There was nothing where I was like, well, why are we doing that? Again, everything in there. A good crossover to the UFC. Lots of slamming, lots of, you know, got to hold people tight. Did the grappling work with a good range of different ways. Obviously, did a bit of pad work and grappling as well. And then obviously with real people, helping focus in a bit more. And then obviously the weights all generated as much power as you can, because in UFC, if you're stronger than your opponent and you're able to pick them up and slam them, that's really hard. Or you're able to punch them and they're staggered or they're knocked out from that punch, or same with a kick. If you kick someone's leg and they go down, you've got a real good opportunity. And then obviously Brock's work on doing the quick stuff, so the bear crawls and the sprawl with the medicine ball help with that. If you are to then sprawl really quickly on top of them, you can probably get ground and pounding, maybe be able to lock in a submission, and you can win your fight, which is how Brock won his UFC title. So yeah, everything there, jolly good. I have very little critiques. The few nitpicky bits I mentioned are more just about depending on what your goal is. If your goal, again, hypertrophic stimulus, really control that eccentric, basically control the full thing, make sure you get a nice deep range of motion, which Brock seemed to be doing. And again, you know, steady load, steady increase over time. But yeah, I would give Brock's workout a solid 9 out of 10. Excellent. I'm very scared if I was a fighter going against him, because especially after watching that, because I don't think I'd be training like that, to be honest. But yeah, that is all for this video. So if you've enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, look at the subscribe button. If you're new around here, let me know other people's workouts you would like me to review in the future. Yeah, but that is all for now. So I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Peace!